Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City of Boynton Beach City Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, and the time is 6 p.m. Are we good back there? Awesome. Before I continue any further, I'd like to remind everyone of our rules of civility and decorum. Speakers must first be addressed by the chair and not interrupt any other speakers. Public comment speakers should be civil and courteous in their language and presentation. They should avoid insults or personal attacks. Audience members should also respect the rights of others. Disruptions will not be tolerated, and you'll be asked to leave should you violate these rules. We will now turn to the city clerk for the roll call.
Mayor Penserga is absent. Vice Mayor Kelly?
Here.
Commissioner Cruz?
Here.
Commissioner Hay?
Here.
Commissioner Turkin?
Present.
Vice Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Haley, do we have Pastor Bender here? Oh, there he is in the back. Our invocation tonight will be led by Pastor Bob Bender, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Hay. Let's all stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you that we have breath in our body today, that we have the gift of life, and that you have given us this opportunity to extend your love to our neighbors and to our community. And we pray that you would give wisdom and discernment to all those in leadership and positions of authority of all kinds, that you would continue to be able to refill and strengthen their hearts and their minds, and that you would continue to be able to protect our city. May we be known for our love and for our community, and may you continue to be able to teach us your ways. We pray for strength, and we say thank you, Lord, for those that serve in positions that many times do not receive much gratitude, but they do it as civil servants to be able to serve the good of others. And may you continue to teach us what it is to be faithful like you. Our community, the city of Boynton Beach, needs more and more of your strength, your guidance, and your presence. And we thank you again that we have life today and can choose your way. We ask your blessing and anointing in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Pastor Bender. We are now moving on to the agenda: approval, additions, deletions, and corrections. Legal, I understand that you have an item.
Yes, we have an item that has been added to the consent agenda. It's Resolution 24-138 relating to allowing the city manager to sign a right of entry and release relating to the police department using a certain property for SWAT training.
Okay, and so we're going to add that to 6Q. Thank you. Okay, let's begin on my left with Commissioner Turkin. Do you have any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
The only thing I got is, I don't know if this is a discussion item that we can add or just a statement that I can propose to bring back for the next budget workshop. So we have been talking to a lot of the officers, you know, all ranks throughout the organization, and I've seen it myself. We have a real-time crime center, right? We've invested a boatload of money into and advancing our technology into this real-time crime center. The issue is it's not very well manned, and I know that we have a manning issue in the organization now. I know we're catching up, we're doing a good job, and so, you know, what I'd like support on from my colleagues is to start funding a unit for this real-time crime center, because it doesn't make sense, you know, not just for myself, but for the taxpayers to invest all this money in technology in this real-time crime center if we don't have the manning that's appropriate for it. It's just sitting there, and I don't want to say going to waste, but not being utilized to its full capacity. So I would personally like to see if the police chief could bring something forward and at least starting. I know that we can't necessarily fund this in one budget cycle year, but maybe looking at, you know, get this fully funded and staffed for fiscal year 25 or 26, you know, whatever is the most financially responsible way to do that. But I don't want a real-time crime center not being utilized. So I would ask my my colleagues to support that. And, maybe we can get some more information, at another meeting or at the budget workshop.
Yeah, I mean, my suggestion would be that should be part of, Andrew, that would be part of budget workshops, and that maybe that's something that we can add. Commissioner, are you saying that is something that you want to see budgeted in the future, so that it's line item like we have done previously, where we've allocated for positions, so that moving forward, we have those allocations, but it's not necessarily something that you're anticipating will
Correct.
affect the current budget?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Does anyone have any objection to that being added as an item for upcoming budget workshops?
No, I would have no problem with that, with the proper information, so we can make that decision, because I do agree with you, but I just want to make sure we approach it correctly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Andrew, you'll get with the police chief and determine what that looks like, and be ready for budget workshops?
Yes, we can work with police chief, and then we can get you a summary or a white paper in advance of the budget workshop. So when you come, you'll be informed and we can make some decisions.
Perfect.
So we'll do that in advance, and then we'll speak about it at the budget workshop.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank
Okay.
you. And then the other thing is where are we at with the strategic plan updates? I know we're shrinking that down. We're getting into the budget workshop. I think how we're going to budget is going to be a lot based on the strategic plan. So I want to make sure we're not shooting blindfolded here.
Thank you, Commissioner Turkin. We are actually coordinating with the consultant. His scheduling is, he's got a lot of clients, so his scheduling is not as available as we would prefer. But we are working on scheduling over the next 2 months, the follow-up meetings that you all had requested individually, and then also the public workshops. One will be virtual, and then there will be an adoption at a public meeting.
Okay.
So that should take place in July and August, as long as scheduling allows.
Okay. So
I know it's not a
Yeah,
direct answer, I'm
I
sorry.
think the idea is to essentially have the strategic plan going into our budget workshop. So maybe I know we're going to discuss that budget workshop, those dates later in this meeting. So maybe we come back to that conversation when we get to that item.
Yeah, Commissioner, thanks for bringing that up. I know that I had conversations with staff about that too. And that is, a concern is going into budget if we don't have a strategic plan. But, schedules are, they are what they are sometimes. But staff, if you can, Catherine, if you can update us, even if it's individually, as far as, I can't see you, but I know you're there. As far as when we can anticipate having those meetings. One of the things that I had mentioned to staff was also having a virtual public meeting aspect of that, to pull what was discussed during the commission meeting in that agenda item, that the public have an opportunity to see kind of the final draft before it is presented to us in a final draft. So along with those individual commission meetings, I would like a virtual option for the public to have one last opportunity to see how those changes look, and to get any input from them before the final is drafted. And so I know that puts a wrench in it, but that's really important that we have that aspect of it too. So when can we, at the next commission meeting, I would like to see a certain date as to when we can expect it, so that it doesn't just keep falling under future agenda items and gets lost in the shuffle. So if we could please get a certain date of when we can expect to have those meetings. I know that our schedules are a little crazy, but if we're doing them virtually, we should be able to squeeze them in pretty quick.
Absolutely. And so the dates the consultant is proposing are to meet with you all individually over the phone, July 15th through the 21st, and he'll be coordinating with you individually on that. And then we'll have another management session with the directors and executive level staff the week of July 22nd. And then the intention is to have the public workshop the week of August 5th. So we have to finalize all those dates, and Dadina should be coordinating with you all to make sure that your schedules can accommodate that. And then that is actually in perfect timing because we won't adopt the budget till September. So it would mean adopting the strategic plan before the September budget adoption.
Right, but I would like that, I mean, ideally, some of those things that are on the strategic plan are things that we may want to budget. And so it's difficult to say that we're going to come to the final budget meeting and make decisions that could ultimately change the entire, not the entire budget, but it could reallocate things and reprioritize things. So I'm concerned about that. So if we can move them up quicker, move them up sooner, I would rather that. I know I will adjust my schedule, and I would hope that my colleagues will be flexible too. I think that July 21st is a little far off, just because of that, sorry.
No worries. I'll check with the consultant and make sure his availability is accommodating for that. But we'll definitely coordinate that.
Okay, thank you. Is that all that you have?
Yeah, that's all I
Commissioner
have, Vice
Turkey?
Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Hay, do you have any
No,
agenda
no additions.
additions? Thank you. Commissioner Cruz?
No additions for me. Just wanted to kind of piggyback on what was said earlier about the strategic planning. I think one of the most important things we can do is really focus on realistic goals. And as you said, Commissioner Kelly, we should probably do that before the budget, which is slated to be July 10th, 11th, or 12th. So my thought was if we can get, staff to come up with a list of realistic goals, whether it's like 5 goals or whatever number the commission decides to have. And that way we can come to the budget meeting with a tentative opportunity for realistic goals that we can actually accomplish in the next year. That might be a good way to kind of go forward with that.
Staff, do you have enough info to move forward with that?
Yeah, I think we do. I think the tough part's going to be just getting the consultant in advance of the July meetings.
Okay,
So,
well,
but we'll
let's
do
do
our
our best.
Yep, we'll do our best.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, may I have a motion to approve
So
the
moved.
agenda?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor to approve the agenda as amended, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay. We're moving on to informational items by the members of the commission. Let's begin on my right with Commissioner Cruz.
I do not have any disclosures today. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hay?
No disclosures, but I would like to say that the Juneteenth event was great. No rain. Everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. And I appreciate the way that the city arranged the tents for the shading of the people in the chairs. Everybody seemed to be pleased with that, so I think we should continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hay. Commissioner Turkin?
Yeah, I did also attend the Juneteenth event. Really good event. We got lucky. There was no rain and no sunshine, just the perfect amount of overcast. And I must have just missed you, Commissioner Hay.
Oh.
But no, great event. Thanks to staff for putting that on. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I just want to thank Chris from the fire department. Forgot his last name, and then the other gentleman, I forgot his name too. And Chief Bruder, they helped me with a woman whose car needed to be jumped and battery was dead. Turned into this whole elongated process, but I was able to call the fire department because Chief DeJulia didn't answer the phone, man, and and they were able to get over quickly, and I appreciate that. That woman was she was terrified and she was super stressed out and scared, and we were able to help her out and get her back home. So, thank you guys.
For me, the only thing I have, I don't have any disclosures, but informational items. I unfortunately couldn't attend Juneteenth. I was at the Connect to Greatness graduation here, honoring the high school graduates that are part of that program. It's an amazing mentorship program that focuses on at-risk youth in the community. And so I was at their little graduation ceremony, and so that's where I was. So I'm sorry I missed it. I did hear that it was a huge success, and thanks to events who always manage to make us look good. So
We have it again next year just for you.
okay, good. I'll be there. I'll put it on my calendar now. Okay, moving on to announcements. We have two announcements to share with the residents. The City of Boynton Beach Utilities Department will be performing a system-wide free chlorination flush for routine maintenance of our water distribution system from July 3rd through July 24th. Our next announcement, the Boynton Beach Recreation and Parks Department and the Boynton Beach Police Department will co-host Swim with a Cop on Saturday, June 22nd at John Denson Pool. This event will bring police officers and community members together to build relationships one lap at a time. There will be food, music, games, and more. The event will last from 12:30 to 4:30. Standard pool admission fees apply. For more information, log on to WeMakeLifeFun.com. Before,
Vice Mayor?
yes, did I miss something?
Before we move on, going back to A, I just wanted to ask the question, will that chlorination process impact our water quality in any way? Like the taste of it, the color of it, the odor, will any of those things be noticeable?
Andrew, do you want to talk on that, or do you want Dr. Calcutt to come up?
The reason I ask so that we can
Yeah.
let the public know to expect that during this time period, that this will be going on. But
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, I think it's important that we kind of let the residents know what to expect.
absolutely.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, audience. We are going to have the flushing from that date just for maintaining. And so, yes, you might have a little smell in the water, or you might feel a taste. You can put your glass outside or put it in the fridge, fill it up with a container, and it dissipates. If somebody has more sort of, they don't like the taste and don't like the smell, which most of us don't, so it dissipates very quickly. But other than that, unless you're a dialysis patient who's going through dialysis and using that water, so we inform all the dialysis centers, we inform the hospitals, so they can change, they know that chlorination is changing from chloramination, which is ammonia and chlorine, to just chlorine. And it's only for 3 weeks' time that we do this. So any other questions?
You don't anticipate boiling water, anything
No.
like that? Okay.
No, you don't need to do anything. Water meets all the requirements. It's just a different disinfection process than what we use most of the time. And it helps maintain the lines a little bit better. That's why we do it. But if you have any fish or anything that is using that water for, then you need to make sure that you read what kind of chlorine is allowed in that water or not. So we inform all the pet stores, we inform all the dialysis centers and all the hospitals. But other than that, there should be nothing else you need to change.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Calcutt. Okay, before public audience, I understand the city attorney has some comments with regard to some items that might be mentioned during public
Yes, I
audience.
just wanted to give the commission and the audience an update. We recently received an award with regard to an arbitration, and there has been some media on that, and so I wanted to update everyone. I am currently working with the attorney, and we are coming up with different proposals, and once that is completed and I have that, then I will present that to the commission for the commission to make a vote on how to proceed forward with that litigation. Okay? But until then, please, we have 90 days to make a decision, and we're not there yet. So if you could just bear with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lamb. We're moving on to public audience. As always, it's 3 minutes per person, and it's non-transferable. This is not a Q&A. Because this is not a Q&A, should you have questions during public comment and would like follow-up from staff, please see Assistant City Manager Adam Temple, who is in the front of the room. Same rules as always apply. The speaker must address the commission. Insults, personal attacks, and disruption will not be tolerated. You'll be asked to leave should you violate these rules. After we conclude those in person, we will go to those online. And thank you, Commissioner Turkin, for being in charge of the clock.
Got it. All right. Who wants to go first?
Somebody, both sides are,
How come it's running?
Okay, Harry Woodworth,
hang on,
Harry,
sorry,
hang on
Harry,
1 second.
1 second.
30 minutes, I'll cover it.
Right.
Hang on. I think this needs a new battery.
Maylee, are you coming to the
Maybe he's coming to
rescue?
the rescue.
Maylee's coming. Sorry, bear with us just one moment.
Yeah, pointed at that thing. Oh, don't blame me. It was broken when I got it.
Okay, well, I can time it on myself now.
I think it needs a new battery.
I got,
I can, I
got
can
you
time,
right
I can time it. Hang on one second.
I have a watch.
yeah?
Okay, can we, Commissioner, do you have your phone that you can time it, set the timer, or should I do it on my phone?
Yeah, I can do
Commissioner
it.
Turkin?
Yeah.
That's fine. If somebody could just start a timer, please.
Say when to stop.
And then Harry, we'll give you 10 seconds when you're, sorry.
Are we ready?
Bear with me.
Okay, I
You
wasn't
don't
gonna,
have 93 minutes,
I
but
wasn't gonna take 3 minutes anyhow. Harry Woodworth, Boynton Beach. First, I'd like to thank you guys for bringing up the strategic plan. I had about 4 paragraphs of venting that I was gonna do, which I won't. We started this over a year ago. The meeting started, the first meeting was in May. There was email trails that go back before that. The whole purpose of the exercise was to get some goals for the city, because every previous attempt to do strategic goals ended exactly where this one did, with no executable. Okay, Stephen Covey sums it up. A goal without an execution plan is a fantasy. That's just a fact. We've never gotten past it. This time, we got there. We had it. A year has passed, we don't have one single written, actionable goal, long-range goal for the whole city of Boynton Beach. I don't even know what to say. 80,000 people depend on the commission and the staff to do stuff like this. You've got a budget every year where the recurring expenses barely make the recurring revenue. There's no room to go in there at the 11th hour and change this, and you know that. What in the world takes a year for something that every corporation and entity in the United States and the world does, which is make long-range plans? And I'm not picking on anybody, but this is underwhelming by any metric. And we don't have any metrics, so nobody would know that. 80,000 people depend on the staff and the commission to do things like this, so that the future of this city is different than the past. Folks, I don't get up here and pick on anybody. I never have and I never will. But we should be embarrassed. We should collectively be embarrassed for having 14 months pass and not having one written, actionable, long-range goal. Not even one. I don't even know what to say.
thank you, Harry.
No worries. I am watching it. It's fun. I will say I don't want to be the one that follows that, though.
Oh, you're back on duty now.
User error.
Susan Ware, Boynton Beach. So I want to point out that I take Gateway to go to work every day. I work for the second largest employer in the city of Boynton Beach. And the lights on that are, as soon as you cross I-95 on the top of Gateway and head west, have changed. So they need to go back. Because as of this morning, you now have 2 lights cycling red, the one right in front of the Publix and the one right there where you turn on to Quantum. They never did that before. So you now have hundreds of people every half an hour trying to drive in between 6:45 and 8:55 in the morning. And they're now being stopped by 2 additional red lights that they didn't have before. And having gone this way for 4 years, I know what the lights should be doing and how they work. So, Vice Mayor Kelly, I understand you're on the MPO. Please call them and get this fixed, because this is unacceptable that you are now going to make potentially 800 people late to work because of some random change in the stoplights that we don't need. Thank you. So what I really want to talk today about is, if you notice on the agenda, we are selling a lot of stuff, including screws and wing nuts and bolts and shutters. So I'm wondering where all that money is going and why we're selling all of this. Is this to offset the next thing I'm going to talk about? But this just looks very strange that we are writing off tens of thousands of dollars off of our budget that goes back for 5 years. Why wasn't this, written off that year it happened or the year after? And now all of a sudden you're writing off tens of thousands of dollars, potentially more. I didn't even do the math. I just looked at it. And you're also selling approximately 30 some odd $1,000 worth of hurricane supplies. Were those hurricane supplies paid for? I assume you went to Ace Hardware and Office Depot and used your city cards for this. So are you looking to pay back the bills? Did you not pay them at the time? What's going on? Why are we selling all of this stuff? I hope there's discussion. It gets pulled on consent. And that leads me to my favorite topic, which is the Boynton Beach Boulevard disaster. It was budgeted for $3 million. It now costs $7 million. You need to put a stop to this. Whatever little bit you're making from selling screws and wing nuts and bolts is not going to cover that $4 million excess. So where are you getting that $4 million from for a road renovation that we absolutely do not want, do not need, and is hindering our city? So please stop that renovation because we don't need it. And please discussing, on these consent items, why the heck we're selling all this stuff and writing off tens of thousands of dollars of the public's money. And I hope you have a way to get it back. Thank you. And please get the lights fixed.
Thank you, Ms. Sawyer. Next,
May I?
you may.
Thank you. I'm David Merker, citizen, obviously, of Boynton Beach. My passion, my desire is a word called togetherness. And how togetherness comes together is through education, often through history lessons. The Juneteenth event is an event that we, the people of the whole city, let alone outside the city, should be truly informed, become knowledgeable, and education about. I went to the event like I go every year to the different events, and I found it disappointing. What was disappointing was not the people who participated, but the lack of number of people who were there. I was there for a little over 2 hours, and the population that attended was not very great. And I find that upsetting, because Boynton Beach, I look at it as a diverse city, a city of many people who should be together and should know about one another. And I use that word, my favorite word, and those who know me, the word is history. So thank you for the event, but let's make it better and more informative next year.
Thank you. Next public comment speaker.
Cindy Falco Di Corrado. I'm here tonight because I received a letter from the Boynton Beach Police Department in which every one of you here have been a witness to, and I'd like to read it to you. Ms. Falco Di Corrado, thank you for your recent feedback regarding the interaction you had with our personnel. In your complaint, you expressed concerns regarding excessive force. I sincerely regret that this encounter fell short of your expectations. I didn't have any expectations. As we strive to provide competent and professional service during each citizen encounter, a thorough review of this incident was completed, and the available evidence did not support the burden of proof required by Florida law to sustain the allegations made in your complaint. Nevertheless, your feedback on our performance has been noted, and your participation in this investigation and concern regarding our performance is well appreciated. We take these allegations and/or concerns that relate to the performance of our duties and the service of the community very seriously. We bear this in mind as we continue ongoing training and development to evaluate any allegations of a similar nature that may arise in the future. And this is signed by your Chief of Police, Joe DiGiulio. Now I'd like to read terrorism, the unlawful use of violence and intimidation against civilians in pursuit of political aims. Conspiracy. Conspiracy is an agreement between two or more people to commit an illegal act, which was done that day when I was attacked, a senior woman. along with the intent to achieve the agreement's goal. Most U.S. jurisdictions also require an overt act toward furthering the agreement. An overt act is a statutory requirement, not a constitutional one. See Whitfield versus United States 453 U.S. Code 209-2005. This is illegal act. It's an illegal act, and it's conspiracy. As you know, you have been witnesses to the abuse that was done in this room. This was sent to me by your chief of police. You heard the offense. You saw the offense. You saw the abuse. This is shameful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment speaker.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Reedy. I just wanted to talk tonight about a couple of things that caught my attention on the consent agenda. Much like Susan, I was a little bit surprised to see that we're holding a garage sale. We're selling screws and wing nuts and chainsaws and all kinds of things right at the start of hurricane season. And I'm wondering if there isn't anything on that list that we might need. And you hope to bring in about $38,000 with the garage sale. And then we go further on to the consent agenda item 0, which pertains to the Police Benevolent Association amendment. Reading that contract, or the backup information for that item, says you currently are paying a 5% step increase annually. And then further on it says it's going to be an additional 5% increase. Does that bring it to 10% each year? And I did not see a budgetary amount associated with that item. How is that going to impact the budget? You know, is our $38,000 garage sale certainly is not going to cover a 10% increase. So I was just curious. It would be helpful to know what the budget impact would be on that contract item. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Next speaker, please approach the podium.
Thank you. Eric Party. I come here to talk about something that's going on in our society, and I know it's a national issue, but we are part of this nation. Now, we have a religion, I call it a mental illness, called wokeism in this country, that is dividing people by skin color, gender, and so on. You know, you could talk about anything you want, but we can't solve any problems if we're divided. Now, these are issues that divide us, this LGBTQ and your BLM and all your alphabet soups. All they do is divide us. How can we solve problems if we're not united? How do we unite under signs of division? You know, we have DEI, either way, it stands for division, exclusion, and ignorance when you think about it. Because, you know, I'm not saying that somebody can't do a job because of their skin color or their sexual desires or whatever. They're saying it through DEI. I'm not saying it, they are. Now, if you ever have a surgery done, would you rather have the guy who's been doing the surgeries for 10 years or this guy because he happens to be black or gay or whatever? You know, this DEI is very dangerous. And all this does is divide us. And it proves it when you have your 6'6" benches right across from your little rainbow thing that's painted on the street. How are we going to solve problems in this country altogether? Think of this city as a little tiny country and the mayor as the president. How can we solve problems if we're all divided? I mean, we should all be, this is the United States of America, not the divided States of America. So we should not be symbolizing division. And that's all we're doing with your rainbow flag painted on the street and your BLM fists hanging there. And the 6'6" bench is right on the corner. I've heard talk of a day of prayer. Where are you going to pray? In front of the 6'6" benches? Because we've obviously taken God out of our society. Now, you don't have to believe, you don't have to go to church or anything, but there is a God. And I think everybody believes that there is something above us. Everybody should. But things are going biblical now, and we really need to pull together and not divide. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Party. Is there anyone else from the audience who would like to speak during public comment? If not, we're going to go to those online. I believe we have Mike Taylor online to speak during public comment. Mike Taylor.
Hi. Can you hear me? Can you hear? Hi. I do want to say something. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Perfect. I didn't know.
No
All
worries.
right. The woman that said that she got attacked in at the meeting, I actually covered on. Oh, my name's Michael Taylor. I'm from Port St. Lucie, Florida. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
I want to let the woman know that I covered the attack on my YouTube channel. What I am going to speak about is my trip to Boynton Beach. I am a Second Amendment activist. I came to Boynton and I met a couple of your officers on the out of the jetty, and I'm going to say they were pretty ignorant of the law. We'll just leave it at that. And you know, I basically had to walk them through the law because they're like, oh, I don't know this number. I don't know that number. I don't know this. I don't know that. You can't carry more than 6 rounds. And I'm like, I'm not shooting fish. But, you know, we spin this all around. And then a really good friend of mine, his name is Honor Your Oath. That's his YouTube channel. He goes by Jeff Gray. And he came to Boynton, and I believe he was at a Parks and Recreation area, and he was out there with a sign that said, God bless the homeless vets. And the officer then said, oh, well, guess what? We have an ordinance against panhandling. And the sign that he had just said, God bless the homeless vets. He wasn't out there panhandling. But when the officer said that you have a panhandling ordinance, I'm not trying, I need to actually address one person, and that's going to be the attorney. And this isn't me poking fun at anybody or nothing, but the attorney of Boynton Beach, if you can, if you got your pen handy or ready to go, please look up the case law, David Wartros versus State of Florida. It's already been decided in the Florida Supreme Court that people asking for money is a charitable contribution. It's free speech. You know, now if somebody's aggressively panhandling, saying you need to give me money, that's a whole different. That's going to be harassment. That's a whole nother thing. And then if people are stepping out into the roadways to get money, that's a whole nother thing. Because you know you're actually stepping out into, you know, you're violating state law. But panhandling in
10
its
seconds.
core.
Sorry, Mike Taylor, you have 10 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. Panhandling in its core is completely lawful anywhere in the United States. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And then we have Mike, I'm sorry if I butcher your last name, it looks like Newer. Mike Newer, it looks like you're online to speak for public comment. If you could state your name for the record.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Mike Newer. Appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to speak. I'm having issues and have been having issues since I became a homeowner in Boynton Beach with the city enforcing the code compliance and rules against my neighbor at 58 Vista Del Rio. I've been having problems with them since I moved in. They have a dilapidated boat and a trailer that is over the property line. And I've addressed this concern with code enforcement as well as the police and have gotten zero assistance. I've asked them to move it. I offered to move it myself. I've contacted the city code enforcement and they told me that it was a civil matter, even though the city code states, and I quote, that the recreational vehicle, boat, or boat trailer shall be parked or stored entirely, I emphasize entirely, on the property owner's on the owner's property in a safe and orderly manner. And it's over the property line by about 2 feet. It's caused me undue stress and prevented me from the use and enjoyment of my property. I've had to fence my property because I have dogs for my backyard, and I actually had to fence around the boat because they refused to move it. And I will need to and bear the cost of redoing the fence once it is finally removed. The property, I've also complained, violates the city code regarding the building exterior. and I quote, "Repair work on exterior walls shall be painted in a manner as to color coordinate with the rest of the structure." There are 2 areas on the house that are probably about 8 foot in width that are not the same color of the house, that they just painted splotches on. I filed complaints through the My Boynton Beach app about 3 months ago, and the issue still remains. Also, their fence is not permitted, and they were told they had to put a safety fence around the pool and one of those mesh fences. They put it up for the inspector, and then they immediately took it down, and half of it is now exposed. And then they also recently replaced their gate on their fence without a permit. I've also been having issues with my backyard and my reasonable expectation to privacy. We have an 8-year-old goddaughter who was over a few weeks ago swimming in her underwear because she didn't have a bathing suit. And less than a week later, they cut down the majority of the trees along the fence line and put a camera on their roof pointing at our pool. This is very upsetting and disturbing. I planted some hedges along that fence line to try to block their camera from viewing into our backyard and watching the pool. And they put the camera up on 2 cinder blocks to raise it higher so they can continue to spy into my backyard. I understand you're allowed to videotape people in public, but I believe that in your own backyard, I would have a reasonable expectation of privacy. Called the police on this issue. They came out and told me there was nothing they can do. I have documentation and photos of all these issues, and I've retained an attorney to deal with the court date regarding the boat, since the city code enforcement has neglected to
Thank you,
enforce their code.
Mr. Newer.
It's-
Thank you. Sorry,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
time has expired. Adam, can you please, if he's been on the My Boynton app, we have his contact information. Can you please follow up with him with regard to his concerns?
Yes, we'll do.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Newer. There's nobody else online for public comment, so probably the public audience is now over. We are moving on to administrative items, 5A, advisory board appointments. Hang on one second, let me change gears a second. Okay. Okay, the Art Advisory Board has 2 vacancies, no applicants. Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals has several vacancies, no applicants. The Community Redevelopment Agency has vacancy, and I would like to appoint Cameron Maharaj for the regular position for the CRA. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, so now we move on to Employees Pension Board. We have 2 vacancies, no applicants. And then we have Education and Youth Advisory Board that, and the mayor has the next appointment, but because we both he and I have alternate positions to appoint, unless you have any objections, I was thinking I would make my appointment today, and the mayor would then have the next appointment when he's here. So, but I just wanted to kind of make sure that everyone was good with that.
No objections.
Okay, so Commissioner Cruz, you're good? Okay, so then I would move to appoint Allison Copeland.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The Historic Resources Preservation Board has 4 vacancies, no applicants. Library Board has 4 vacancies, no applicants. The Recreation and Parks Board, Commissioner Turkin, this is your appointment.
Motion to approve Bruce Robertson.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The next board is the Senior Advisory Board. There are 5 vacancies and no applicants. And I think that concludes this agenda item. Legal, we're good? We're good? Okay. Moving on to 5B, it's informational only. Is there any questions with regard to 5B? If not, it's informational and doesn't need any sort of motion. Okay. Moving on to 5C, discussion regarding budget workshop dates. I know there was some confusion about budget workshop dates. I know last year, if I can just talk for one quick second, just kind of summarize where I think we are. Last year, we had one budget workshop that was an all-day, and then we had another one that was in the evening, and the day one was definitely less attended. I'm not sure if we need that kind of time or if we just need 2 nights and maybe a backup that we can piggyback on the commission meeting. But I wanted to get your thoughts. I'm fine with having an all-day one if we think that we need that kind of time. So I will start with you, Commissioner Turkin, on your thoughts regarding budget dates.
Yeah, because in my calendar, I had July 8th all day, and I had
Right.
taken leave for that day, and I'm sure, maybe some of y'all have as well. I'm open to doing it in the evenings as well. I think that allows for more public input. So what you're proposing is just maybe 2 evenings with a tentative third evening?
That was my thought, but I just want to make sure that that's enough time. I also don't want to run into where we're having these evenings and then we're not allowing enough time to have all the discussion that we may need to have.
Sure,
So
sure.
I don't want to, it's,
Yeah, understood. I'm okay with that. If we do move forward to look at a day, I would like to just keep the 8th since we planned for that. It's been on our calendars for the last 6 months. So that's where I'm at. I'm okay with either. But if we do one during the day, July 8th, keeping that, and then maybe the additional time needed in the evening or the 2 evenings with a tentative. So
okay,
that's where I'm at.
okay. Commissioner Hay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I have no problem with the July 8th date, but I'd like to do 2 evenings for the sake of the public with one possible backup if we need it. Because the public has been complaining that a lot of people are working during that morning, but they would make a sacrifice to make an afternoon budget meeting. So that's why I'm 2 evenings and 1 evening for a backup if needed, and keep the date on July 8th.
Okay. Commissioner Cruz, what are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, I would prefer to have a full-day workshop, at least for one day, the way that we've had it for several years before. We've seen that the public comes sometimes, and obviously public input is important. However, we do have a CRA meeting on July 9th, so it would be if we have CRA meeting on the 9th and then we have 2 more nights. I mean, let's be real, like, you work all day and then you're doing these things in the evening. I would think that for the best interest of the taxpayers and our residents, we want to be awake, aware, full of energy, and really just focused on, because this is the one time a year that we have budget workshops, and this is the most important thing that we do as elected officials. So I would definitely advocate to have at least 1 full day as a budget workshop. I'm open to having a continuous of an afternoon, but we do understand that we do have a CRA meeting on the 9th after working all day, which that's kind of my view.
Got it. What are your thoughts? I mean, I'm just brainstorming really quickly to not exhaust this too much, but on that July 8th date, what if we did, and as opposed to doing just an evening, which would run late, what if we did it where we started it, kind of mid-afternoon, but included some of the nighttime hours to allow for people to come, I'm just trying to think of, so that we're not here super late 2 nights, because I do understand that, and I agree it's a lot, but luckily it's 1 month that we have to hopefully deal with this. But yes, it is a lot, I get it. I mean, I'd be fine with a July 8th all day if we thought that it was gonna be needed. So that was, I mean, I did, just like you, Commissioner Turkin, I had blocked it out on my calendar at work, so I'm fine with that if we think that's what we need. I don't know if we can just start a little bit later or what, but I'm maybe defer to staff we know the dates. We want to do July 8th and July 10th, is that what we're?
Yeah, and I know it's set up
And
for.
then maybe the 11th if needed?
Yeah, I think that's what
Yeah.
we had,
11th in the evening?
if needed, right.
If needed.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And I think we can even do like 9 to 6 instead of like 9 to 5. So if we have people coming from work, they can come on the first day. You know, it's up to the board, but I'm more than open to staying until 6 because we do have a lunch break and that's maybe like an hour or not, so I would be okay with that.
Okay. So staff, is that enough direction for you? I think we're looking at July 8th and July 10th. It looks like the consensus is, I mean, is that the consensus everyone's good with during a day?
I'm good with one.
As long as
July
we,
8th.
I mean, I agree. I think that night is important. So I don't know if maybe we can look at ideas on maybe
10 to
starting
7.
later and going, right, maybe doing 10/7 or 11, so that we're getting out and we have a firm end date or a firm end time, so that we're not super late, but we're covering the bases of having an evening in case somebody can attend one night and not another.
If we can, I'd like to lock up the dates and times of day. So, because
Okay.
we're going to have to publish agendas out soon and start advertising for notices. So, sounds like what I'm hearing is July 8th, maybe doing from 1 to 8 in the evening. That would, because right now we start at 9. I figure that's 3 hours to lunchtime. But if you start at 1, you'd add it on to the end. That gives you 1 to 8. And then maybe July 11th in the evening from 5 to 8. And then a backup Friday would be,
No,
not Friday,
the
Wednesday.
would be the,
8.
Wednesday would be the second evening, back up on that Thursday.
Correct.
I don't think anyone wants to go to a
Yes.
budget workshop on a Friday night.
Right, correct.
No.
So we would do two
Friday's
evening
not.
the backup date, we'd do July 8th, and then Wednesday, July 10th in the evening, and then Thursday would be another July evening if it's a backup date, if we don't.
As a backup,
Yeah.
right.
So I just need the times on that Monday.
The July the 8th date. Can we do like,
Like 11 to 7?
11 to
Or
7?
something. I understand it's a holiday weekend, and I'm sure that's
Or
the
11
Monday,
to
so I'm sure it's
6?
hard to come right in and then jump to a budget workshop. So I'm okay with starting later in the morning, like 11 to 7, 11 to
6 or something?
Yeah.
And having 11 to 7 and,
11 to 7's
I'm
good.
fine
What
with
do
10 to 6.
Okay.
You know, that's fine.
10 to 6?
yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
Let's start with that. I mean, if we don't need the time and we're done with that
Usually
day,
have like
then
a
we'll
second
go
day
on.
where we discuss like a summary of everything that we discussed and we can have time. And that's kind of the time we have for public comment like we did last year.
Right.
We did public comment on the second day, not on the first day.
Well, and, oh, thank you for bringing that up. Andrew, I want to make sure that, Andrew, sorry, I want to make sure that we have public comment on both the days and that we don't just have it on one day, because I think last year there was some confusion where it was kind of an afterthought, and so then we had people wanting to, you know, have input, and they weren't able to because it wasn't on the agenda and we missed it, so.
So 10 to 6.
So 10 to 6 on Monday, we can go past 6 because we don't have a published time. So if we wanted to go further, we can. And then on the Wednesday, we'll go from 6 till we finish, and then same thing with Thursday as a backup, starting at 6.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay. All right. Okay, now we're moving on.
Sorry, the
Oh,
attorney's asking me to make sure that we at least have a proposed time. We could always extend it. So we're going to do 10 to 6 on the Monday.
Right.
And then 6 to 8 on Wednesday and Thursday.
or we could start at 5:30. No? Okay. Okay, Commissioner Cruz is saying 6. Okay.
Sounds good.
No worries.
All right.
We can give everyone a break between their workday and coming here, so that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The beauty of being retired.
Yeah, must be nice.
One
keep
day,
living.
One day, hopefully not too long.
Okay, now we're moving on to consent. Do my colleagues have any items they would like to pull from consent? I'm going to start on my right. Commissioner Cruz, do you have any items you'd like to pull?
Why? Yeah, let's go ahead and pull 6O.
Okay. Is that it? Just 6-0?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
perfect. Commissioner Hay?
We did have, I think, an add-on item for SWAT, which was
Q.
resolution number R24.
Q.
That was Q, okay.
Did you want that one, or you were just clarifying?
I read it, it's fine.
Okay. Commissioner Hay, do you have any items you'd like to pull?
No, not for that one, no.
Okay. Commissioner Turkin, any items you'd like to pull from consent?
Yeah, 6F, there's a little bit confusion about that. I received some text messages. and some communications about that. So if we can just explain what that is as far as the mangroves go, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay. Perfect. If there's no other items to pull, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, now we're going to move to item 6F, legal.
Yes. We had a lease with the Archdiocese with regard to the property that they have, and the lease terminated in 2019. We have since that time been trying to remove the boardwalk because as part of the lease termination, it required us to turn the property back into the original condition. Unfortunately, because of the mangroves, we have to have FDEP's approval to do that, and we had some trouble having the landowner cooperate with us in getting that, an agreement as to what the application should look like to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Fortunately, this was negotiated with Pam Ryan, who is the young lady that we brought in. My office contracted with her to negotiate this, and she was able to reach an agreement with them whereby we're entering into a continued lease agreement. We will work together with a consultant to come up with a proposal for the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. The goal is to remove the boardwalk and preserve as much of it as possible for reuse. And we have until December of 2025 to do that with some short-term extensions if necessary.
Perfect. Thank you, Shauna.
Commissioner Turkin, do you have any other
Nope,
questions? or
I just
anything with
wanted
regard to this
that
item?
explanation for the public.
Okay, thank
on the
you.
record.
Commissioner Hay, do you have any questions on this item?
No.
Commissioner Cruz, any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now we're moving on to 6O. Ms. Lamb, if you could, you reading that resolution? Or do we need to read it in?
I don't typically read the resolution.
Oh, okay.
But I can if you'd like.
Well, I mean, can you introduce the item?
Yes.
Thank you.
6O is the proposed resolution number R24-129, which approves and authorizes the city manager to sign an amendment to the officers and detectives, sergeants and captives collective bargaining agreements between the city of Boynton Beach and the Palm Beach County Police Benevolent Association regarding wages and pension for the officers, detectives, sergeants, captains of the police department. Staff recommends approval of the proposed resolution.
Thank you. Commissioner Cruz, did you have, before the chief speaks, did you have specific questions about this item?
No, honestly, it was just for awareness. I think it's good news, and I think it's something that we should briefly talk about.
Absolutely. Joe DiGiulio, Police Chief. I want to thank the Vice Mayor and the Commission, City Manager's Office for this opportunity. In this day and age, it seems like it's a very competitive market out there for qualified police officers, not only to recruit them as well as to retain them. Everybody's looking for that very small percentage of quality people. And we want to be able to be in a position competitively within the county to continue to recruit and, of course, retain the excellent staff that we currently have. Years past, I would say that we would hire roughly 3% of the people that do apply. Over the years, that number's less than 1%. And every agency in Palm Beach County, as well as our neighboring counties, are fighting for the same people. And they're be able to offer them competitive packages as well as opportunities. Opportunities is equally important, besides the pay, is be able to do different things in law enforcement. And we want to make sure that, for us, the key to that part of the equation is staffing. So we want to make sure that we can continue to recruit, we can retain, provide those opportunities, also be competitive in the marketplace, which is why we're basically recommending the approval of this, as well as the pension part of it, because that is the one thing that we can say within the county that we have that no one else has. And I want to be able to have that as a huge recruiting and retention tool. Also, is when we do recruit, and have the ability to pull people who are certified quality law enforcement officers that are currently working and bring them onto our team. And by having the ability to bring people in higher steps in the traditional step zero allows us to be competitive in that marketplace as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. My only, Commissioner Herkin, do you have any questions or?
No, go ahead,
about
I'll go
this?
last, yeah.
Commissioner Hay. My, I have lived in the city a long time and have watched the police department struggle with retention, where we became a training department. And I think that you, Chief, and staff are making strides to make sure that we're not just a training department and that we're not losing quality officers to other departments. I know it has happened in the last 6 months since we had an update that we were fully staffed. Now we're back down a couple. So I think this is important. I think you said we were in the top 3 and we dropped because other cities have done similar movements to be competitive. We dropped down to 9th as far as, which is way below many of our neighboring cities. And so I think it's, I know this was on consent and, but it's something that I think it's important that the residents hear about and they know that, the staff and the commission and the police department wants to make sure that public safety is our priority. And the only way we can do that is by staying competitive. The pension thing, that's something that is my understanding. It's budget neutral, and my understanding is when you incentivize the officers by giving them an opportunity to retire early, typically they don't, and so they stay longer. But it's an incentive to have that pension availability at 20 years as opposed to later. Thank you for looking into that. If you could just briefly, I know there was a public comment asking about how this affects your budget and where this is coming from. That's important moving into the budget cycle. So if you don't mind just quickly just touching on how you have been able to keep this kind of, budget neutral as, as much as possible.
As far as the dollars and cents of it, I'll probably defer to our interim budget director, interim finance director. But as far as how we could actually allow this to take effect July of this year is that we're able to use our salary savings in our current fiscal year to help start this July 1st. And I'm not sure if Tony is he's back there.
Yeah, no worries, thank you. Okay.
Chief, you did save some money on the flock group, if I'm not mistaken. I know I didn't pull that, that's G. But if you could interject some comments on the, that's G on our agenda, the R24-122, where we approved the authorized city manager for a 2-year agreement with the Flock Corporation for safety, real-time crime, the Center Elite Package. Could you talk a little bit about that and the cost of the $60,000 versus the 97? So you're saving a few thousands there. So would you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Commissioner.
As it relates to that item, it's the Flock operating system, which is basically the brainchild, the hub of the Real-Time Crime Center. We're currently with a product called Command Central Aware. Right now, it just doesn't meet our needs. And that item was roughly $90,000 a year. It's a subscription-based program. The Flock OS is $30,000 a year.
So you're saving about 30,000 there.
Saving about 60.
Okay, 60. Very good. So there's some funding that that offsets what he's trying to do. So,
Thank you, Commissioner.
well,
Chief, since we are talking about Flock really quick, do you mind just briefly explaining for the public how incorporating and how this change will make the police department a little bit more effective in how we're handling calls and things like that? Do you mind?
As it relates to the Flock, the OS? Okay, I'm going to ask Chief Bonifer to come up here. He's our SME and our project manager, and I'll let him
Just
take you through the
brief,
motions.
Because we have a lot of different softwares
Yes,
that
yeah.
we're trying to to kind of spearhead and.
Yeah, the key is convergence.
Consolidate,
Yes,
so.
yeah, you want to bring everything into one, so I'll let him do his thing.
Thank you, Chief Bonifair.
Good evening, everyone. So to give you the Reader's Digest version of the operating system, basically it incorporates everything that we currently have, so license plate readers, all the city cameras. It also has a community outreach thing, so where we can go to businesses and incorporate their business cameras. It has a camera registry, which allows us to register homeowners' cameras, and it puts it all in basically one big dashboard, one big map that's easily to access. So we just hit an icon on top of a building, a house, a business, and it gives us a live view of the camera. It gives us a live view of the feeds of all the license plates for, like felony vehicles, things like that. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions now or offline if they have.
This is being utilized by other cities right now, right?
Yes, so Riviera Beach is having a great success with it. The problem is that other cities have established themselves with other companies. We chose this particular company because of the ease of the use and it's economical, and it's the right fit for our particular city.
Thank you, Chief. Commissioner, hey, did you have your question? You're good? Or do you have any other questions?
Yeah, just in terms of going back to the bargaining, does that kind of put us up in the middle, upper quartile, lower quartile? Does that move us at all in terms of comparison of the other cities?
Yes, the amendment will move us to number 2 in the county as far as starting pay.
Really?
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, as far as the pension, I mean, I could be wrong, but we're currently the only city in the Palm Beach County that has the 20-year.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it puts us in a really competitive place.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cruz?
Yes, thank you. Just wanted to say we're taking a step in the right direction. I'm very happy to support this. I think it's something that we needed to do. I know we went backwards in 2019, but we're taking a step today to go forward and to go forward in the right direction, something that is going to help our department, not only with recruitment, but also with retention. And retention is the most important thing, as Commissioner Kelly stated earlier. We don't want to be a training place where people just keep leaving, and we waste time, money, and resources to do that. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Turkin?
All right, thank you. No, everyone hit it on the head. And I think the most important thing here is, we're the 3rd largest city in Palm Beach County. We're losing officers, to different departments, FAU, because not just because of the pay, but the benefits. So I think the pension is a great incentivizer. And, the big picture is here is public safety. And there's no price tag on a child. There's no price tag on a human being. And ultimately, that's what this comes down to: is every resident deserves the right to feel safe. And this is a good increase, I think. And so I think with this comes expectations. So I think as we become a better destination department, the expectation needs to increase. And I believe in this department. I'm looking at 30, 40, 50 PBA members right now. You guys know I have your back, and let's make this the greatest department in the county. So, motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're now moving on to consent bids and purchases over 100,000. Do my colleagues have any items they would like to pull from 7?
Very good, guys. I have none.
Commissioner Turkin, do you have any items on 7 you would like to pull?
I think I have one. Do you mind coming back to me, Vice Mayor?
I do not. Commissioner Cruz, do you have any items you'd like to pull from 7?
I do not.
Okay. Did you think of one?
Motion to approve.
Your mic on?
Second. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are moving on to public hearing. We have one item for public hearing. I'll now turn to the clerk to swear in anyone here to speak on this item. Madam Clerk?
If anyone is here to speak on item 8A, please stand up and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may have a seat.
We'll now ask all members to make disclosures, beginning with Commissioner Cruz.
I do not have any disclosures on this item.
Do you have the sheet to read?
Oh,
Sorry.
thank you.
No problem.
As to this matter, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit, and I have not received expert opinions other than city staff members. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you, Commissioner Cruz. Commissioner Turkin?
As to this matter, I have not had ex parte communications. I've not received any written communications. I've not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you, Commissioner Turkin. Commissioner Hay?
I have not had ex parte communication. I have not received written communication. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinion except from staff. I request that these disclosures and all written communication be made part of the record.
Thank you, Commissioner Hay. As for me, Vice Mayor Kelly, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. I request these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record. Thank you. City Clerk, can you please read the agenda item for the record?
Okay, this is to approve the development order for conditional use for Blue Heart Adult Daycare to be located at 709 South Federal Highway, Suite 1, in the Community Commercial C3 zoning district.
Thank you. Do we have a presentation from city staff, or do we have staff that's going to speak on this matter? Ms. Lamb, should we hear from city staff first and then the applicant? Is that the order of?
Yes, we can hear from city
Preference?
staff, and then if the commission has any
Any
questions for the applicant, or we can go with the applicant first. Okay, go with the applicant first, and then if you have any questions of city staff.
Okay,
And
very
then
good.
public comment as well.
Okay, thank you. Hi,
Hi.
welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, City Commissioners. My name is Olitha Blue. I am a registered nurse, and also my mother and I Playthell Blue. We're residents, long time, born and raised here in the city of Boynton Beach. My proposal is to open up an adult daycare in the city of Boynton, which I think that the city would benefit off of because, as I said, my mother has been here, my grandmother's been, which is not here anymore, but we have a lot of friends, families. As I said, I'm a registered nurse, and I know that this particular proposal would be good for the community because we have a lot of elderly residents in the city that are home by themselves daily, that have caregivers that work 8 to 5. In my community, adult daycare is 8 to 5:30, which they're brought there by transportation to minimize hospital admissions, falls, admissions to nursing homes. I also am a case manager that also place residents that are on long-term care in these particular programs throughout the Palm Beach County. So I know how beneficial this is for the community. This has been a long road for us. We've tried it before, gotten anywhere. So I wanted to push this time because we constantly have people in the community that come by and ask, are you open? Do you have any openings yet? Because it's a great need for it. So we are here standing and hoping we get the city's approval because we have definitely worked hard to get here. I don't know if you all know what an adult daycare is, but I think that it will be a great need to the city of Boynton Beach. And it's not far from the city here, just over the tracks. And So that's why we're here.
Right. We've been trying since 2012 or 2015.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have, does anyone on the commission have any questions right now and before city staff speaks? Anyone? Okay.
Want me to do the presentation for it? Do you want to? Well, I mean, everybody pretty much knows what an adult daycare for the community. It prevents isolation. If he wants to go to the next slide, it benefits adult daycare safe and supervised environment, fun and educational activities, a break for the caregivers. Like I said, we do arts and crafts, socialize, some even field trips and sing along. Most of all, it prevents isolations at home, and it gives you daily exercise. We provide one hot meal that's catered in, and 2 snacks per day. So it basically, in a nutshell, it's monitoring the health of the community interaction, reduces the risk of hospitalizations, admissions, and nursing home admissions. I mean, it also, it's a burnout most time for caregivers. So, many daycare centers include, like I said, exercise programs necessary for maintaining physical health, strength, and independence in the home. You can go to the next slide. Socialization and engagement with other residents in the community, that, sometimes people are home and they didn't know that their neighbor down the street might have been in the same area, same city in the morning, and it just, helps them socialize and get out of the house for at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And this is Blue Heart. We're coming to you, like I said, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it's in a medical building. So we just need the approval, conditional use approval. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Staff, do you want to just kind of give an overview of what the request is for the conditional use approval, please?
Absolutely. Good evening, Vice Mayor and Commissioner. My name is Jae Kim with Planning and Zoning Division. So next slide. Click.
Haley has it.
Clicker is over there.
Sorry, Haley has it.
I can go over really briefly about this
Perfect.
request.
Thank you.
So applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use to operate adult daycare at 709 South Federal Highway. The subject property is located in C3 zoning district. The land development regulations requires a conditional use review approval when adult daycare proposed in C3 zoning district. That's what the applicant is here. The subject property was constructed in 2012 to house medical and retail uses. The proposed use will be located in the formerly operated as a pharmacy, the approximately 2,020 square feet. Applicant is a proposal includes all interior renovation only. They do not require the exterior alterations or building additions at this point. Staff recommends approval for this request with the proposed conditional use, subject to satisfying all comments indicated in Exhibit D, conditions of approval. That concludes my presentation, and I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Turkin, I'm going to start on my left. Do you have any questions for the applicant or staff?
Nope, I think it's a very unique concept. From what I understand, it's in very high demand. And so I think this is a great addition to the city, and Adam went over everything with me in my agenda review, so I don't have any questions or concerns at this time. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Hay, do you have any?
Yes, I think it's a project that's long overdue.
Thank you.
Because I know many, I would ask you for the public's sake, what are the ages for qualification?
Senior age, I want to say about 60 to 60 to however long they're here for. I would like them to be, senior citizens. It also would be a monitor of, how much need they need to come into the adult daycare, which, like I said, I've been in the medical field for over 20 years. I'm a registered nurse. My mother's also a caregiver, so.
40 years.
Yeah, so about 60 and up is what I'm proposing.
Okay. I noticed the address on the photo had south and another one had north, but it is south.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, it is, correct.
And would you be taking up that entire building or just suite one?
Just suite one, because the top building is, I'm actually geriatric doctor, so, and that's how I made my decision for the building underneath, because we thought that because of he services a lot of the elderly residents in the community, that we would be able to, help each other by the ones that are home, because a lot of his patients are home, they don't have any caregivers, and that's how I kind of made that decision and location for that particular building. So I would just be on the bottom floor.
Very good. Well, if I can be of any help, just let me know.
Thank you,
Okay.
will do, thank you.
Very good.
And if
Good
you
luck
know
to you.
anyone, when we get open, please send them over there, because we will be giving the best
I'll be
care.
right there, not as a, I don't know what you call them.
It's gonna drop you off. She's gonna drop you off.
Ignore this guy. Okay. That's it. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hay. Commissioner Cruz, do you have any questions or comments?
All my questions were answered during agenda review, but I do want to thank you for everything you do for our seniors, and I'm happy to support this. I know it's important to have, daycare for seniors, and we understand that a lot of caretakers have to work. I mean, the economy is, inflation's up there. Cost of living is very high, and people can't afford to stay home and take care of their parents or grandparents. So thanks for all you do, and I'm happy to support this.
And it is it's less costly than having a nurse myself go in for 8 hours.
Absolutely.
And also to the people in the community, once I do start getting out there, I would start letting them know about long-term care, which a lot of us don't know about, which the government funds this particular program because it's needed. Because it helps, like I said, hospital admissions, which is more costly. It helps prevents nursing home and falls. So I'm looking forward to, bringing jobs, creating jobs also in the city of Boynton, and, being of help and service to the city of Boynton.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cruz. My comments have all kind of been touched on, but I do agree that this is really an asset to our city. It's in a great location, with it being close to our senior center, with it being close to the club, which is an assisted living facility. And so, and I, it's thank you and give you kudos for choosing a facility or a location that has doctors who, specialize in that, because that is where you're gonna get your clients. And this truly is a need in the community. And you touched on it briefly for caregivers. The daily load that a caregiver takes on it's really unmeasurable, and I don't think if you're not in that situation, you cannot appreciate just the mental load that 24-hour caregiving does to a family. So thank you. I support this. I think that this will be a great benefit to the city, and when you're up and running, and before you're up and running, we have lots of events. You can set up a table, you can and advertise, and I know the city will do whatever we can to get the word out as well. So with that, may I have a motion to approve?
No, I'm sorry, we need public comment.
Oh, we do need public comment.
comment.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Please come forward. Ms. Reedy, have you been sworn in, or do you need to?
Barbara Reedy. I just had a
Madam Clerk, do you need to swear in? Sorry.
Yeah, do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
I just had a thought. I don't know if the capacity of the facility will be covered by code. I just was wondering, are they going to limit it to 50 people, or are we going to have, 500 people?
No, it is actually, it has to go through, actually through conditional use and fire and planning with the state. So it is, I am only holding up to 55 at this time is what the building will require in code and fire. So it is, it all has to go through the city of Boynton, municipality approval, and the state of Florida. So there will not be a, overload of patients, adult in and out. So no, it won't be, Ms. Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I don't see anyone online. So with that, this item is now, public comment on this item is now closed. And now, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we need a roll call, Ms. Lamb, on this?
Yes, please, roll
Okay.
call vote.
Madam Clerk, if you could do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Turkin?
Yes.
Commissioner Hay?
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Motion approves, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you all.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you all.
Can I just say thank you for the City of Boynton Department, also the city planning and zoning, building. They've been so patient because I wanted to give up, but they helped me. I just want to, especially with you, I really appreciate you all and the City of Boynton Beach. We still have a ways to go, but we'll be opening soon, and you guys just, anytime you're in the area, have anyone give me a call or stop by.
Awesome, we will.
We'll
We
do
look
a
forward
ribbon
to you
cutting for you.
opening.
This is
We're gonna do
Boynton
ribbon
Beach.
cutting.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right.
That's right.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, if I may, real quick.
Yes, Commissioner.
I was looking at the appointments earlier from the Parks and Rec Board, Bruce Robertson. From my understanding, wasn't there an ordinance passed a little while ago that you had to live in the city in order to sit on the board? This applicant marked no. I don't know if that was a clerical error or not. Can we just review that?
Yes, I can review that. It would depend on the ordinance. I know in some cases.
I don't know if it's every board or.
Yeah, some of them require, it can be waived, but I can look right now.
Okay, yeah, I saw that was marked no. So if we can just verify that.
And that was the Parks and Recreation Board?
Yeah, the Bruce Robertson.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
legal, if you would,
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now.
well, and then get with
It doesn't
the
have to be
clerk
right
and-
this second. I
right.
mean, we can just.
Well, did we appoint him?
Yes, we
So
did.
if we did appoint him and there's a problem, we should undo it now. So give me just a second.
I wanted to thank you for bringing that up because it is a legitimate point. In all honesty, when we get applications here as a final, there's a certain level of expectation that, they're accurate or that they're in compliance with any ordinances. And my understanding is that, yes, that they should live in the city, within the city limits.
So just to clarify, and this is probably something that needs to be cleaned up in the code, when we had this discussion several months ago, the direction from the commission, and I went back and listened to it many times, was to require the art board membership to be city residents. However, it doesn't apply to all boards.
Okay.
I don't think that was the intention of the commission, so we do need to clean that up. But that is, the way the code is written right now, other boards can be Palm Beach County residents. But we need to clarify
I think what we
that.
did for the art board, and I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, it was that they needed to be electors of the city, like they needed to be registered
For the
and
art board,
vote.
correct.
But not only residents, but in addition to being residents, they needed to be electors of the city.
Correct.
That's-
I'm sorry, electors is the correct word, but it's the only one that applied to during that conversation, and I went back and listened to it multiple times to make sure that I got it correct, is the art board. So we do need to probably go back and confirm the intention of the commission and
Okay.
clean up
Thank
the
you.
code on that.
So I think maybe we can revisit this, after legal, and Catherine maybe take a look
Yeah,
And then if we need to bring it back, we can bring it back as a discussion item.
Yeah, I mean, I seem to remember that it was either or, either you're a resident or you own
Or
a
a
business or run a
business owner.
business or something. So let's look at it. I'm not opposed to have it. I mean, I'd rather have the boards be filled with qualified people than not have our boards filled just because, if they're, but I'm willing, I'm open to have that discussion.
I have an answer for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you have to be an elector within Palm Beach County with a preference towards people living in Boynton Beach. And so that is what it currently states with regard to serving on boards. So preference shall be to individuals who are residents of the city of Boynton Beach, provided however, non-residents who own property in the city, own a business within the city, or serve as an officer, director, or manager of a business located within the city may also qualify for appointment, provided they possess qualifications or experience required by the board or committee. So that's the preference order, but essentially any elector in Palm Beach County.
So,
Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I was going to say, the fact that we are an autonomous body, that's our call. Would that not be a true statement?
So typically, we can waive with regard to
Right.
policies and resolutions, typically not with regard to a specific code or ordinance. If we want to change that, that is certainly something we can change to be more specific. So we could make it that to qualify to serve on a board, if I hear what you're saying, it has all of these things that we currently have for preference, and then add a section where for certain considerations, this can be waived by a majority vote of the commission.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And if
go
you
with
would
that.
like me to do that, I can prepare that and bring it before you to make that an ordinance.
And that would be a good move, in my opinion.
I agree. I just wanted to make sure that that appointment was validated.
Yes.
And that, we weren't invalidating this applicant. So sounds like he's validated to the current code. And so I don't have any more questions about that. And it looks like we'll have a future discussion item on this.
Or do you want a discussion item, or would you like
the
to give me direction
consensus.
to at least propose
Can
something?
we discuss it? Can we add it to
A
a
future
future
agenda
agenda
item,
that we're
yeah.
gonna discuss it? Because I don't want to it's not an item that's on the
Emergency.
agenda right now, and so I don't want to have a discussion about something that's not on the agenda.
Okay.
I'd rather have it come back before us. Mr. Katz, it's not normally public comment time, and I'm just wondering, you're gracing us with your presence, and I'm just gonna ask my colleagues if they have any objection to allowing Mr. Katz. I'm assuming this is on the advisory board
My
issue that
only
we-
concern,
Yes.
and nothing against you, Mr. Katz, is if we look as though we're giving consideration to certain individuals over others, then that could potentially be, considered a problem if another person at another time were to come up and wish to make a comment.
Okay, understandable.
But this was never available for public comment.
Well, we're gonna add it to a future agenda, and then we can discuss it.
Yes, I would suggest maybe we add it as a specific
But
date.
offline, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to hear your thoughts. Okay.
Because as I
Thank you.
recall, we have had someone come up at this point in time, and we did not
Right.
allow them to speak at that time.
It is certainly, that is my legal advice, but, whatever the commission feels is appropriate. But
That's
my
fine.
advice would be that we do not.
And we're adding it to a future agenda, so we can have that discussion, and that will be public comment, and we're fine. So,
Thank you.
there's no, moving on now, number 9, there's no city manager's report. This meeting, there's no unfinished business, no new business that we added to this agenda. Legal, do you have anything else you would like to discuss this evening?
No, thank
Nothing?
you.
Okay, so I think we are at the end of the meeting at 7:35. I think I think this is a record.
7:38.
I will take
Wrong, I
credit
messed
for
it
this
up.
record.
You get that
Um,
from?
if I-
7:35.
May I have a motion to
So
adjourn?
moved.
So moved. Second.
Motion to adjourn.
Good job, Vice Mayor Kelly.
All those in favor?
Good
All
job.
right, thank you.
You're done
Thank you,
good,
thank
kid.
you. Thank you.
Get done earlier.